I hope you all are ready to come along with me and get topsy-turvy as we dive back into the 3-yard quilts for kids. At first I was thinking I hadn't done a lot from this book, but now looking at the back of it, I've made 5 of the 9 quilts on this one. So, and 2 of those quilts are the same. They're just different appliques. So I'm over halfway through this Quilts for Kids book. And this one I think is going to be good for a kid or anyone really. I think the only thing that may make it kid size is the size of the quilt in the end. So you saw this fabric a little bit. This is some that I'd had in my stash. And so I found some good coordinating prints and we're gonna get topsy-turvy. So we're looking at the yellow, the green, and I guess it's a floral print. So nothing's floral about this. So let me show you what we got. So our floral, but not floral for fabric number 1, is going to be this delightful Star Wars print. I can't remember why I bought this. I think I thought I was gonna make somebody an apron at one point, but I never did. So if you're one of my friends that I was gonna make an apron for, I'm sorry I forgot. And if you still want an apron, tell me who you are and we'll see if I get something together. So this is gonna be fabric number 1. That's gonna be in those main focal squares as well as some of the border. Fabric number 2 is our background. So I've got this nice basic green Kona, kind of like a deeper tone where it's not exactly this same green. Well, it's not anywhere close to that same green, but because it's similar in shade, I felt like it was a good match because this is like a navy blue, and I felt like bringing this green in was going to be a good kind of calm it down instead of making it obnoxious and bright. And then fabric number 3, which is going to be in some of the borders as well as the little kind of mini squares, is this print. And so this is kind of also how I brought in the darker green, because it's got just a little bit, it's got a little bit pink in there, which I think adds a little bit something to it. But these ones in there, I think is going to add a little bit of visual variation and kind of just make it more than what I originally thought I was going to. Like, honestly, I thought I was just going to have this fabric and 2 solids. And that's what I thought I was going to end up with when I was stewing my ideas. And then I saw this. This was another clearance wall find, guys. Like, how good is that print? So these 3 all together are going to be so fun, and I think it's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see it all come together. It may be a little bit on the wild side, but that's what we do around here. Let's go cut out some strips. So this topsy-turvy quilt kind of threw me for a loop when it came to the way it was pieced, but I feel like the 3-yard quilts kind of do that in general. So here is the strip assembly A, which is the little Star Wars guys with the green. This one is strip assembly B, which is the green Kona again with the funky little print here. And then this one has 5 borders. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, since I had enough, I cut this green to be my binding. In the book, it shows it's the same as this one, but I did not purchase that accordingly, even though I could have. I went on autopilot and got 1.25 yards of the Kona. So I believe that's what I cut. So I think the strips are gonna go quick. It's gonna be the borders that are gonna be what take the longest, I'm sure. So let's go start sewing so we can see how it all comes together. So I decided after looking at this fabric, it was kind of tossed, but directional enough. I needed to pay attention to that. And because of that, I needed 18 blocks of these units with the green at the bottom. No, 12 at the bottom, 18 at the top, because I needed 30 blocks altogether. And so that meant I needed to pay attention to different things. And so I used the Stormtrooper as my like right side up. And I had to make sure I sewed the green on the bottom of him, the green on the top of him, and then after watching Hannah with Fabric Cafe's video about directional fabric, I cut one of my strip pieces in a certain amount so that I could get 2 more, because I could get 8 or 10 or something. So I needed a couple more that didn't come out of a whole strip unit, so I had to make a partial strip unit of my own to make sure that I could get that. And so now I have them all in piles of this set has where this unit's going to attach on the right side. This is the top with the unit touching on the left. Same thing over here. The bottom attaches on the right side, bottom attaches on the left side. So hopefully with that, I'm going to get some nice blocks and it's going to come together real quickly, and then I'll just have to deal with all these crazy borders. There are 5 borders for this quilt. 5 of them. So let's go do this before I have to start putting border on border on border on border. A certain someone has been spending all day supervising the guy who's doing our lawn. Yes, it's super tiring, huh? So let's see if I can get her to come help do some borders, because obviously she hasn't helped me with the first 2. So let's see if she'll help me with the 3rd one. And now we topsy-turvied our way into getting our Star Wars quilt done. And I think this one actually turned out really cool. I like how these little guys, I think if I had kept those as a solid, it wouldn't have that same fun impact. And so I am glad that I did that little print in there, and it kind of just gave it another little pop of color just to give it something else to look at. And this one, because of the directional print, I guess kind of directional print, because this is really kind of tossed, I don't know. It did come from Joann's, and so I know their prints are very directional usually. This one kind of passes a little bit as non-directional, I don't know. Anyways, so because of that, having to take the time and figure out, okay, this one needs it to be on the top, this one needs it to be on the bottom, just so all my Stormtroopers were going the same direction and all my Ewoks were going the same direction. I'm sure I put more thought into it than most people would with this kind of a print, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The only other thing I switched was the order of my borders. Not that that's a wild and crazy thing. What I did is I flipped these two. So in the pattern, this one here, the bright green, should have been the inside and the outside. But my binding is actually this dark green as well. And I didn't want to lose any of this bright green when I put the binding on. And so because of that, I switched the green to be the outside. So then it'll just round off the edge with that dark green, and then it won't have you won't lose as much of that bright color. So it'll all just be the same. And so this gets to still stay as an impact with this fun print around here, and then pull into there. So it really didn't make much of a difference. It was just changing the order a little bit, which I am quite pleased with. And then the cool thing is, not that you'll be seeing this on the day, maybe if you follow me on Instagram, today is May 1st that I finished this, so there's a good chance that I will be quilting this on Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th. So I'm gonna give you an up close look, and then we'll be back real soon to quilt, bind, and send this off into the galaxy beyond.